Okay, so I'm back, y'all. Sorry about that. So I had to let me do y'all part two. So, um, let's fast forward. Like I said, I'm in ninth grade. My mom already drew those pictures, and I'm like, okay, I'm having these dreams. So one of the dreams that I had on this particular day, at this time I was in a choir, and we would travel. And I had this mentor, which was very prophetic lady. That she knew things, and there were some things that I went through as a kid that were on my mind constantly, and I tried to hurt myself. And I'm gonna get to this, guys. This all makes sense in a minute. This particular lady was like my mentor. She was like the best. She understood me and everything. And I went over her house one day, and at this time, Kirk Franklin was really getting big, and he was out and whatever. And I think I can't remember the song, but it was playing in the background. And me and my best friend went over there, and she said, hey, she was like, I'm glad to see y'all, she was like, praise God, I thank God is good, woo, woo, woo. She was talking about God, and she was like, you ready for the concert, you ready to sing, baby? I said, yes. And mind you, my friend does not know how to sing, but she's my hype man, so she's like, yeah, yeah, she just cheering on, we just chit-chatting. And I all of a sudden, like, this woman blacked out, y'all. She went straight to sleep. And we was like, okay. But within seconds, she did like this. She said, and she banged her hand. She said, don't you ever. And it was like somebody sounded an alarm, like if it was in a tornado drill or something. With the way she banged her hand on it was like an almighty fist that shook the room. It didn't literally shake the room, but it was powerful. She said, don't you ever do that again. You are my child. You are a child of God. And it is up to me to decide when you leave this world. She said, it is up to me to decide. I can't remember how she really put it. She didn't say leave this world, because she didn't tell on me. But I knew what she might have did say that. Y'all, is vague because it's been years. But when she said it, my friend was confused. Now, mind you, me and her grew up in church together, but she was totally confused. And she looked at me, and she said, she was preaching, and she was telling me, I knew that she was talking to me, but it wasn't her. It was like God was speaking through her. Like, don't you ever do that again. I know what you did. I'm always, I'm the all-seeing God, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, I haven't told this lady nothing, because I ain't told nobody what I've done. So I'm like, okay, what's up with it? So we both looked at each other, and we scat batted up out of that lady house, because once she said it, she nodded back off and woke up and said, oh, y'all still here? I didn't even know. She said, I didn't even know I fell asleep. So we were like, she don't even know what she just said. So at the time, my friend, like I said, she didn't know nothing. She didn't know what was going on. But I knew exactly what this lady was saying to me. This lady don't even know what she said to me. That's how prophetic, man, God would work through this lady to speak to me. And if you're not a really religious person, and you don't believe in there's a higher power and there's a hell and a devil, that's on you. But I know my experiences. And it ain't just because I was born and raised in the church. No, ma'am. These were my actual experiences. My scene. What I saw with my own eyes. And we ran out of the house, and she later on, she was like, what y'all run out of the house for? Because we instantly was shook. Like, what the world? So I later on told my friend, and she was like, but how did she was like, whoa. That was powerful. And I said, yeah, that was powerful. So moving right along at this time, like I said, I'm having these dreams. And one particular night, I went to sleep. And like I said, at this time we were having house renovation, so we was all in this one room. Me and my mom was in this one room together. And my dad worked late nights. My brother was whatever, he was older. So anyway, we're sleeping when we went to sleep, and I'm on the bottom bunk, and I'm in this dream. And instantly, first I'm at my mom's mother house. She lives in the country. And if you haven't been down up in the North Georgia mountains, at night, it is extremely midnight. When I say it's midnight black, baby, it's midnight black. Okay? Okay, you see that? Okay. It is. Yeah. So at this time, I'm like, okay, what's up? No. Back to the dream. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm at my grandmother's house, and I'm just telling y'all, it's so pitch dark out there, and I'm used to that, so I wasn't afraid of it. So we were used to always enter into the back of my grandmother's house, but this particular day, I was already inside my grandmother's house, looking out the glass screen door. Mind you, her porch light would always be on in the back. But you ever seen where it's pitch black, but all you see is the light that's shining toward that pitch black, but you can't see in that pitch black? It was like the light was reflecting onto the porch. I looked at the porch, and the cat was changing from a cat to a baby. Cat to the baby. Now, mind you, this is my dream. And I'm like, well, I wasn't scared. I didn't fear anything, but I thought it was weird. I'm like, why is this cat changing from a cat to a baby in my grandma's house like this? Mind you, it's dark, but I'm used to the dark because I used to go to my grandma's house all the time. So I'm there, and at this time, I'm like, what in the world? So after it was doing the switcheroo, just like that, it's like the dream went pitch black. And when the dream went pitch black, I kept hearing it was the most evilest laughter. It was one of them, and I was like, what the heck? So, and it kept saying, necromancer. Necromancer. That's how I was doing. And I kept saying, wow. So I thought it was weird. So after it was doing that, it's like a light. You know how you be at one of them portrait things, or how you be at a show, but it's pitch black in the audience, and all they do, they turn off like all the lights, but the light is just reflecting on the stage. That's how it was. It was like the light was just reflecting on me, and I was on the stage. But I went on the stage. I was just standing there, and the light was on me. But it was this big, huge king of the jungle lion. When I say he was big, he was very well fed, okay? And he had the big mane. But he was standing right beside me. Whew. I got chill bumps, y'all. I get really emotional at these times. I don't know how to feel, because that line made me feel safe. After hearing that voice, and again he was saying necromancer. So at this time I had this dream, and so I'm weirded out, and so I'm like, well, what is this, Lord? So I got up and I told my mom that morning when I got up to go to school. So I prepared myself to go to school, and I got on the bus. Mind you, I ride public transportation. I got on the, because I didn't get on the yellow bus. You know, you live in a major city, you get on the subway and the subway and the bus. But anyway, I get on the bus, and by this time, Kirk Franklin had that album out again. Now, mind you, I told you, I'm all in the church, I'm in the choir, we travel, all that. And I can remember it was saying, I couldn't get that voice out of my head. necromancer. And so I put my earphones on. And so I'm jamming, and it said, let's go down by the riverside, leave your troubles far behind. Let's go down by the riverside. So I'm jamming on the bus, because I'm listening to my church music, okay? So I'm trying to get this voice out of my head, because mind you, I do fear the evil in it. And at this point, I don't understand it. So this is a new week, or I want to say it was a new week of school, like the beginning of school. You know, that's like a Monday, or maybe Tuesday. But I know at the beginning of the week, we would always have these spelling words, you know. And in my particular, it was history. I went into my classroom, and he was like, yeah, you have your new vocabulary on the board, you know, write them down in y'all, you know, folders, so we can discuss, you know, and go over it, you know, get the definitions or whatever. Y'all, and I promise you, I can never take this back, and I never forget it. One of them vocabulary words on there for history, for me to look up, was necromancer. And I freaked out. Because I'm like, here we go again. I'm dreaming stuff. that happened. And like I said, I didn't get to touch bases on the last one, but the stuff I was dreaming before was like if somebody was about to die or somebody was sick, I would always feel it. I would always know. And I knew it was to me, I was so weird because who can you tell that you're seeing these things and that you're feeling these things? And I would always know when my brother was about to get in trouble because we're not twins, but I would always feel it in my gut, and my mom would feel the same way. Like she would always feel it. And it was like we would know something was about to happen. And lo and behold, something would always happen. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I'm sitting in the classroom. I'm looking at this word. Now I need to look it up. So now I'm curious. So everybody knows that in an encyclopedia, there's more than one definition. So for history, there was a certain definition that he wanted. And I scrolled down and it said, it is a wizard or a sorcerer who foretells the future through the dead. Now, mind you, now I'm freaking out for real. And I really want to reach out to people. I really want to say something, but who can I tell? Yes, I could have told my mentor, but at this point, I'm a kid. I'm young. Yeah, I'm in high school, but I'm just like, this is weird to me. Even though I grew up in the church and I knew there was a heaven and a hell, and I knew there was things that were out there, this meant that I could do that. This meant that this was one of my gifts. So now I'm afraid of what I'm going to see next. Okay? Y'all hold that thought for part 3.